So I know you did radio. So what even got you interested and got that job to be on that radio station?
So I started out in college. So a little backstory. I've always had like weird um, situations that have drawn me toward public speaking and entertaining.
Really?
For example, when I was in high school, my first actual job where I filled out a like what is it, like W-2, W-4 or whatever.
Right.
My first actual job was selling super chamois in the mall at a kiosk.
Really?
Yeah. So imagine for me for a second, we're in the mall
Right.
and we're in the hallway. We're not in the
Right.
store. You got your you've heard of ShamWow.
Yep. ShamWow.
Okay, so it's the
Oh,
same
yeah.
thing. Super absorbent towels.
Right.
And I've got like a little table in front of me, and I've got a glass dish on the right with water in it.
Right.
Sponge, regular sponge. My right hand, left hand had my chamois. Right, so I dip the sponge in the water, squeeze it onto the table, dry it with the chamois. Right.
Nice.
So I'm 16 years old. This is my first job.
That's cool.
And I would squeeze the water, dry it with the chamois, and there'd be people walking by in the mall, and they would gather around, and
Right.
and so I'd be like, check it out. This is the super chamois. Use it 2 different ways: dry for dusting and polishing on things you don't want to scratch or harm, like your glasses, CDs, windows, mirrors. They're also used damp to absorb. Made in Germany, the super chamois is going to hold up to 21 times its weight in liquid. It's machine washable, bleachable, and guaranteed to work like this for the next 3 to 5 years. You can take them outside on your cars, trucks, and boats. Like, I had it down, bro.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Can't believe you still remember it, dude. That's
I
awesome.
know. It's been like let's see, a decade and a half.
Dude, that's wild.
And it's still in there. Anyways, so my high school, I spent entertaining crowds of people in the middle of the mall. And so it's like, you would never connect that with radio.
Right.
Because it's like, what does that have to do with anything? But like, it's that idea of public speaking, being comfortable with yourself, being able to like kind of think on your feet while you're talking, and a lot of those skills transferred over
Right.
into radio. Had no idea that was going to work out that way, but it actually has helped me a ton. So shout out to Damon, my old boss, Jake, Chris, all my guys at Super Chamois. We killed it, man. But that has nothing to do with your question at all.
No, but hey, that's the background. That's the background. That's awesome. It is weird. It is weird. I mean, when we shot that video, I was a dancer, and I am way not a dancer. I am. I want to be. I want to dance, but I mean, I don't do it daily. I don't work out daily. I don't, do all those things that I used to do. But I feel like the art that I learned from dance helped podcast and filmmaking, because I know how to be on camera and direct. And so it's weird. It is weird how you kind of, it's, 2 things can be so separate, but you do learn things,
Transferable skills.
Transferable skills.
That's exactly what they're called, man. Absolutely, 100%. And so I was in school at BYU, Idaho, in Rexburg. It's freaking freezing all year round.
Oh, yeah.
Even in the summertime, it's cold. Actually, summers are pretty nice. But I just remember it being freezing always. And I honestly don't know how the first experience started with emceeing, but that's where it started, was emceeing campus events. And I think someone just asked me or something like,
right.
Hey, I'm in charge of like this thing on campus. Will you like just announce the people? Like, it'll be super easy and you just have to say their names and then like that's it. Right. And like so I went on stage, but I like had fun with it.
Right.
Like I wasn't just gonna announce their names. Like I wanted people in the crowd like to have a good time.
Right.
And so I like prepared for it, and like, and you know, I had like not jokes. I'm not a comedian, but like I had things to say and things prepared so that the crowd enjoyed themselves
Right.
during the show. And then it was just like one led to the other, and until I was like almost every weekend I was emceeing campus events.
Oh, wow.
Like Battle of the Bands. I suck at sports, but I was doing the slam dunk contest.
Dude, that's
and
cool.
like all these shows, and I was the MC, man. So
That's
I started like rating freaking DI and stuff like that. So I had like costume, not like costumes, but like you know, like sports coats. I was broke in college, you know, so I had to go to DI. But you know, bow ties. I had a whole kind of stuff, so that when I showed up, I looked like the MC. You know,
Dude,
like
that's
people
so cool. Yeah.
people knew who I was. And I got an email one day out of nowhere. I told you I was doing communications, studying communications. Got an email from some lady that worked at the school and was like, "Hey, our radio station has a job opening. I think you'd be great for it. You should apply." And I was like, "Radio? That sounds fun, man."
Right. That's awesome.
I was like, "All right, let's try it," you know? So I didn't even know our school had a radio station or anything, and applied for it, got the job, and that's kind of where it started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you started doing it in college. Yeah, because college campuses do have like radio stations. I found that out a couple years out of state. I was like, we have a radio station? So yeah, that's crazy. So how long did you work for them until you transferred into like a, you know, was your first radio gig for 98.5?
No. So that was kind of into several years into it. So
Gotcha.
started at the school. And then I was like, I want to do this as a career.
Right.
It wasn't instant, but after a while, after seeing the type of things I would do on a daily basis, I was like, I'm going to pursue this. And so I did an internship with Riverbend Communications in Idaho Falls. And so I worked, it was a news internship. So I like wrote news stories and reported the news for their news station, which I don't think exists anymore.
All right.
Radio stations like to flip their channels, you know, flip their stations into different formats. So I got my feet wet there. I did a second internship at KSL in Salt Lake City.
Oh, wow. Dang.
Yeah. And that was also a news radio internship. But I was always kind of bored by the news. Right. And I mean, I loved writing and I loved being in radio, but I was like, I want to like tell a joke.
Right. Yeah.
Halfway through this
more
story.
Entertaining. Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be like so serious and like, like somebody died.
And you're like, yeah, this person died. And you're like,
yeah.
That's heavy.
Every day, all day.
Yeah.
It was heavy, man.
Yeah.
And so I kept in touch with Brad Barlow. Shout out to Brad. Love you, man. He's a big time, long time personality on Z103 in this area, which is a top 40 station. He no longer works there. He decided to pursue his own thing, doing photography and stuff.
Oh, cool.
But I kept in touch with him because he was the program director of the top 40 station, Z103. And I just kept in touch over the years on Facebook. I sent him a message here and there. And then we were doing a tour of their radio station through one of my classes at school.
Oh, wow.
And so I was all acting like I was a big shot because I did my internship there, so I knew everybody. And so, you know, I was like, made sure I had everybody's names down. I'm like, yo, what's up? You know, shaking hands, like try to show off for my like
Right.
like the other college students with me.
Right.
And then I was like, yo, Brad, what's up, man? You know, shaking hands, like hugging and stuff. Like, oh yeah, me and Brad go way back. And everybody's like, oh wow,
That's awesome.
this guy's cool. Actually, they probably thought I was an idiot, but
You tried.
but yeah, you know, that's the important thing.
Right.
Is that I tried. But Brad, as we were leaving, Brad goes, hey man, what are you doing right now? And I was like, I'm touring your radio station.
Right.
He's like, no. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you working? Like, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, I got like a part-time job and, you know, I've still got, you know, like a year of school left. And he's like, I got something for you. And he's like, give me your email address. So then I left, had no idea what he's talking about. But he hooked me up with my first like job in radio, like commercial radio. And so he put me on the air on Z103, started on the weekends, moved to middays. And that's really where the fun started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's when you kind of got into the entertainment side of radio, which I'm sure was a lot more fun, you know, because doing heavy stuff like that, like news and things, can be heavy.
And it's perfect for some people.
Right.
But I got like some personality in there that needs to come out.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So you finally got on the radio, which is exciting. I mean, what was it like? Like, what did it feel like to actually do the radio every day? Was it exciting? Was it, you know, like, what was the feeling of it?
Once I got on Z103, it was like magic, dude. Like everything in your mind you imagine it would feel like is what it felt like.
Right.
So like I would get in the car with my friends because I would pre-record my show.
Right.
And I'd get in the car with my friends and I'd be like, guys, turn it up. And we'd like sit in the car and then we'd hear me and everybody would cheer and they'd be like, what, dude, you're on the radio.
This is so cool.
Man, that's so crazy.
That's cool.
So we would do that. And so it was like magical for like, I would say probably like a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like so fun, man. Just like, that's all I can think of is just like magical, like
fun, energetic.
How's it possible that my voice is being broadcast to like literally 45 people?
40.
I'm just kidding.
I was like 45. There's got to be at like 45,000. Like
I don't know how many people, but
it's got to be tens of thousands.
There was at least 10 people who were listening.
And then there's at least 10. I got mom, I got cousin, brother. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That is exciting. So how long did you work there for?
So I worked there for couple years, 3 years maybe. And then it's cool when you work in radio because you kind of become friends with all the other radio and media personalities.
Right. Yeah.
That was the cool thing about this town, about East Idaho, was that like people were cool. Like the other radio personalities were like friends with each other.
Right.
You know, and so I made a friend with Dusty, who used to be on Z103. He moved to Star 98. He was the program director at the time. And he asked me if I wanted a job at Star 98. And so I took it was a full-time job.
Right.
So instead of just working a few hours a week, I got a full-time job in radio still as a college student.
That's wild.
Which is insane.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like, especially nowadays when a lot of radio stations are struggling, I had a full-time job.
Yeah.
So it was fun, man.
That's interesting. That's super cool. So I'm saying you worked with C103, right, until you moved to Boise.
Until I moved to Star 98.
Star 98, yeah.
Then I was Star 98 for like 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. and then moved to Boise.
And then you moved out to Boise. So where are you doing in Boise now?
So our company's Impact Radio Group. Shout out to all my peers at Impact Radio. So I work for okay. So if you're not familiar with radio, like some of your listeners might, watchers, what are they?
Watchers and listeners.
Okay.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, anywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
So all of the people that are watching, if you're not familiar with radio, a lot of companies will come in clusters, and so in Boise there's like 3 main clusters. I work for one of the main clusters, and we own 7 radio stations in Boise.
Oh wow!
And so all in one building, you've got the top 40 station, you've got the kind of like the oldies kind of music, you've got the country, you've got the rock, the alternative, and they're all in the same building. And so since we're all together like that, I work with almost all of them.
Right.
Doing different things. I'm on the air on Wild 101, but then I do a lot of behind the scenes work for all the stations.
Right.